Yeah. So this is the problem over here. See, so now 0 to I plus plus. So this is the key. What is the key value? The key you are going to search. Okay, this is the key you are going to search. How it search? If an array consisting of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So inside that you are going to search. So it won't go for whether it is sorted or not. Let me show you the example on that. Okay. One second, let me share the screen. Okay, yep, yeah. See now, we'll go for this. Create, so now I'm going to create a Java class. So now I'm checking this is linear search. So this is the linear search. So I'm telling what is the issue over there. Let me check that one. Okay, see, I'm explaining. So in our search, there is a problem over there. So if there are 100 elements inside this array, the key what we are going to search, suppose if it is like 100 element. So I'm going to search here on like dot like 100. So 100 elements are there in this particular array and you're going to search 100th element like it is when you are going to search a key value. So I'm going to search a key value. This starts from here. This starts from here and it takes more time to reach 100. If it is like 1,000 or 10,000, it takes more time and the performance of the application will be reduced. So this is the main issue we'll face in a linear search, but you have to know this search also for your examination point of view. Okay, already discussed this inside the in the last class. So now we are going to discuss about a binary search. Let me tell you one thing. Here inside this method, inside this array, it is not necessary like it is not necessary it should be in ascending order. It is not necessary it should be in ascending order. But in the sense of a binary, but in the sense of, let me create the class. I'll change it over here. Never mind. Okay, refactor, rename. I'll change this to binary. Okay, let me change this. So the class name has been changed to binary. So in the sense of a binary search, if you are going to search an element inside the array, it is essential that the array should be in ascending order, or else we can't use a binary search to search. I think you got my point. So if you are going to sort, I mean, search an element inside an array, it is essential. The given array should be sorted. Given array should be sorted in the sense of a binary search. It won't be allowed if it is in ascending order. Sorry, if it is not in the ascending order, this search cannot be done. So you have to remember the difference between linear search and the binary search. In the sense of a linear search, it is not necessary to maintain the sorting order of an array. But in the sense of a binary, it is essential. It is essential to maintain an array in ascending order by using a method called a sort, right? Arrays dot sort. We already did this. Arrays dot sort. Yeah, by using this, you are going to sort an array. You are going to sort an array. So here, after this only, we are going to use a binary search. There is a function called binary search inside an array. Let me show you that one. Okay. 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 Yeah. See this. So this is the binary search. We are having a particular method called binary search. We are having a particular method called binary search inside an array. I will explain the process for that. If you are not able to use, sir, it utilizes a small program. I want to elaborate in somewhat different programs. There is a process in your data structures. There is a topic called a binary search. In your data structures, there is a topic called binary search. I think in your second sem, right? Third semester. I don't know where in which semester it is. Inside the data structures, we'll use this way. But in our sense, we are already having a function called binary search inside arrays class. So we are going to use that array, which is in the sorted order. It should be in the sorted order. And the key, which element you are going to search, inside this. Okay, and it should be in a sorted order in the sense of binary, in the sense of a binary. In the sense of a binary search, it is essential to maintain the array in ascending order. Then only binary search is possible. This is the interview question. You may remember that. And there is a function called binary search, and there are two arguments. One is the array, which is in the sorted order, and the key, what you are going to search. Let me execute this program. Let me share this. Okay. I will paste over this one. What is this? Sorry. Yes, I will type because it is a PPT, right? It is not allowing properly. That's why. Wait a second. Yeah, okay. Let me delete this. I will type myself so that it is easy for me. Okay, the key we are going to search is equal to 5. Let me declare it as an integer. So now I'm going to use a binary search key. So inside result int, because each and every element is an integer, that's why I'm declaring an integer only. Okay, I will take a variable name as a result is equals to a or rs dot binary search. So inside the binary search, we are having so many arguments like this. We can use only two arguments, which is a or r comma, what is the key? Key key. So the two arguments has been passed towards this. So it will search for it, and this is the result. This is the result. One second. So now I'm going to check whether it is getting on. If the result less than 0, system dot out dot println and sorry element not found. Excuse me. Okay. Else let me copy this one so that the time will be saved. Element form. Okay, what is this? Let me explain. So what it will return? So the value after searching the key, the value after searching the key, it if it is available, it throws 1 over here. The result will be set to 1. So that we'll know that the element is available inside an array. If it is not available, the result will be 0. I mean, it is greater other than 0. So it is not, I'm not saying like a 0, from 0 to uppercase. It should not be less than that. Okay, I think you got the point. This is the value, returns an integers, and we are going to check whether the particular result is less than 0 and element is not found. If it is a greater than 0, and greater in the sense there should be 1, only 1 is available, so the element will be found. Now I'm going to run it. Check it out. The key value is a 5 and we are having a sorted array. So see this, and the main thing you have to remember, inside a binary search is, one second. Inside a binary search is, it should be sorted order. It should be in the sorted order. In the sense of a linear search, there is not like you have to maintain the sorting order. And here inside a binary search, it should be an ascending order only. Please remember all these things. Very important to writing a program. Please, I'm asking you to write in this way, which is a very easy one. And now we are going to discuss how the binary search will be made at the time of, by if we are not going to use this particular method, how the binary search will be happen. Let me explain. Share. See this. So this is an array we are having. So inside a binary search, we are going to get the values. We are going to search a key value. Suppose 33 is there. We are going to search a 33. Let me delete this later. Okay. Let me maximize this so that it is visible for you. See, so here we are going to search a 33 element. So how many elements it consisting of? 0 to 9. So here we are using a formula, this one. Mid is equal to, so middle of the element, we need to find out the middle of the element. So what is the mid? Low. Low in the sense of 0. High is 9. 9 minus 0 by 2. What is the value for that? 9 by 2. 9 by 2 in the sense you are getting 4.5. So from here inside the middle it is available. So we will seal that. Sorry, we'll floor that. 4.5 floor is a 4. So we'll consider this one. So we divided this, and what we discussed, the array should be in the ascending order only, and it should be sorted, or else the binary search is not allowed. Now it will see like we are going to search 33, but here inside the fourth value we are having 23, 27. So the value of is greater than 27. So it came to know that it is in the next half. So it is in the next half. This value came to know that the given key value is in the next half, because the 33 was going to search, but here it is 27, because this array is sorted. It came to know that the value is in the next half. Now we are going to the next half. We go to the next half, and then this is the fourth value. So now the low value will be mid plus one. Mid plus one in the sense 4 plus 1, 5. 5 we are going to place over here. Next high. High is a 9 already, and low is a 5. What is the value for that? 5 plus I minus 4, 9. 1 second. Sorry, the calculation was wrong. Okay, so we got a value 5 over here, and this is a 9, and minus a 5 by 2. We'll get 7 inside the middle. So here 5, 6, and 7. In the second half, we are going to, okay, simply remember, like, we are going to search the element inside the second half. Consider the middle value again. If it is a big array, consider the middle value. And then it is, if it is available inside the second half, go for the middle value. The middle value is 7. It will check like, okay, 35 is there. So then it came to know that 33 is less than 35. That's why it will go for the next one. 1 second, I am getting a call. Hello. In Chapu. Yeah, see this. So here it is less than this one. So it will search in the middle of this. What is this? 2 by 1. 1 will be occurred. So 1. There is a 1, right? So it goes in the middle of this. So it searches in between these two things. If it is available, then it will say, yeah, the key value is available. It is a very easy example, but you have to know about this is the array should be in the sorted order only. Other than the sorted order, you can't even do the binary search. They ask like, if I'm having, this is a question, some people will ask, can you search an element inside an unsorted array by using a binary search? No, it is not possible. And you have to remember that. Okay. Next, we are going to, yeah, two-dimensional arrays. Now we are going to discuss about the two-dimensional arrays. Two-dimensional arrays, we'll call it as arrays of arrays. This is an array. Arrays of arrays. We'll call two-dimensional as arrays of arrays. The same declaration is the same. Okay, see this. So the declaration is the same as an array. A single array consisting of only one brace. We will call the two-dimensional array as arrays of an arrays. Let me show that. Arrays of an arrays. We'll call it as in this way. So what is the use of a two-dimensional array? So inside an array, we are having some more arrays. Inside one array, we are having some more arrays. So that at the time of a matrix, I think you people are using matrix addition, subtraction, and a multiplication. In the sense of a multiple applications, and you are going to store some values inside another array, we have to use a two-dimensional arrays. And we are also having a three-dimensional array in our syllabus. We are going to discuss that later. First of all, what is it? What is the use of it? We already discussed. How to declare this one? There should be a data type which is similar to the single dimensional array, and there should be two braces over here. And this is the variable name, the name of an array. And there is a new. New is a keyword, and there is a data type. Again, the data type we are using over here, the same should be over here. In the size of first brace and the size of a second one. So we'll decide the size over here. Okay, let me show you this. See how it will be happen, how we are going to access the particular two-dimensional array. So this is a column, this is a column, and this is a row. So inside X, X is an array having a two-dimensional array. We are going to consider a 0 over here, and this 0 should be over here. And inside this, The row is a 0 and the column is a 1. Similarly, each and everything will be accessed. If you are going to access a particular element inside a two-dimensional array, you have to use the particular array number so that you can assign a particular index numbers. These are the indexes. This is in general, we are going to declare I and J over here. So by using two for loops, we are going to access this particular array by using the index values. Okay, there are two types in this also. One is a for loop and another one is a for each loop. For each loop is very easy compared with the for loop. To access each and every element inside an array, for each loop is good. But to access a particular element inside an array, it is essential to use a for loop. Yeah, as we discussed earlier. Okay, let me show that you. So this, see how to access that one. This we are using a for loop. We are using a for loop. Now, what the for loop will do? This is the outer one and this is the inner one. Please don't forget at the time of a declaration of, sorry, at the time of accessing a two-dimensional array. If you came to know that, it is easy, but if you got confused, you will make the errors over here, the lengths, which will occur array index out of bounds, because you have to remember this one, which is the main part. The condition is the main part, two-dimensional arrays. Okay, don't forget. Next, how to print that one? Just declaring an integer, the index 0, from that to length 2, less than 2. So 0, 1. So 2 we are going to access, and next 0 and 2. 0, 1. These two things we are going to access. So how it is going to happen? Let me print that one. I will take an example. So next question. Okay, let me create a class. Two-dimensional arrays. So okay, inside this public static void main. Even I am getting more typing public static void. I need to copy that, I think. Yeah, let me do that. See this. Sorry, I need to format this one. Wait a second. Control Shift and L. Sorry. Okay, see this. Is it correct or not? Yeah, it is correct only. So the declaration of the initialization of a two-dimensional array is like this. See this, I'm having two-dimensional array. The name of an array is ARR, and it consisting of, if it is like a single dimensional array, we suppose it to take like this, which is enough for us. But in the sense of a two-dimensional array, there should be another one. Okay, in the sense of a three-dimensional arrays, there should be another one. Okay, this is the initialization of a two-dimensional array. So now we are going to access the particular array by using a for loop. What the for loop consisting of? Because the length is 2 by 2. This is a 2 by 2. So that's why it comes from 0 and 1. 0 and 1. Two elements we are going to access, which we call it as a row. And this is a column. 0, 1. So it is a 2 by 2 matrix. Think it as a 2 by 2 matrix. here 0 and 1, 0 and 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, we are getting these two values based on the information what we provided, and we'll take it as this is rows and this is a columns. We'll treat it as a rows and this is as a columns. False. So here printing the values. Don't remember this. This is just for an information point of view. And I'm going to concat. Let me show you that. So I'm going to print all those values. So here, when the 0 comes, I think you are familiar with this because you already did this in C language, right? Let me run this program. Yeah, see this. So the values inside an array is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So inside the row 0 and column 0, there is a value 1 has been stored. So inside a 0, 1. So this is the row value. These two are row values. These two are row values. These two are column values, 1 and 3. These two are column values. Is that true? No, sorry. I just made a mistake. See, 0 in the sense it's a row. Just make sure that 0 in the sense it's a row. These are all the rows over here. These are all the columns. Okay, I think you got the point. So the values we initialized inside a two-dimensional array, we are going to print that one by using for loop. So there is a method called for each loop. I think it is not necessary. Let me show that one also. Where I made that. Let me open that project so that it's easy for you. So it's okay. I will type that one also. There is no need to. I'm going to mute it because class is going on. See this, which is a very easy method for each loop. Instead of using a for loop, we can use a for each loop, which is an easy concept for us to access each and every element inside an array, or whether it is a two-dimensional or it is a three-dimensional. Okay, these are all the contents. What are all the contents over here? ARR. So each row we are going to assign similar to this. Each row we are going to assign to the column. So this is the column. So now I assign an array, a single array, and the array I'm going to assign a single particular value towards this. But in the sense of a single dimensional array, we are going to take particular integer over here. We will take only integer over here. But it is required over here. We are assigning two-dimensional array. So for the two-dimensional array, that's why we'll call the two-dimensional array of arrays. We are going to pass the two-dimensional array towards a single-dimensional array. If it is like a single-dimensional array, we are going to take single value. I think you got the difference, right? This is the main difference. So inside that, each row we are going to row is assigned to another end. So it is already a single one. This is a single dimensional array. That's why I took it as a single data type, primitive data type. Here array is not necessary. In the sense of a single array, single dimensional array, it is enough to access like this. If it is like a two-dimensional array, it is essential to do that. Because it is a single dimensional array, we just took a single variable over here. Okay, let me run this program. I'm going to delete this, not required. Let me run this program, which is a very easy method for us to learn. See this, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So for each loop, to access each and every method inside of for loop, for each loop is enough. If you want to access a particular element inside a two-dimensional array, it is essential to call upon for loop. Okay, let me go for. So now we discussed about accessing two-dimensional array. What is a two-dimensional array? Arrays of an arrays. Arrays of an arrays. So when we are going to access that, it is make sure that to use a particular two-dimensional array inside an array. And after that, an array will be sent towards a particular value. It should be a single value. So single value will be accessed over here, and each array will be accessed over here. Single value and each array. I think you got the difference. Okay. Okay, I think we completed the two-dimensional array. Inside a two-dimensional array, we don't have only accessing and what is a two-dimensional array in our syllabus. Now, let me see this one. I think today 23 minutes is 5 minutes is there, right? Let me. Yeah, we can display table format. That was some J option panes or there. Let me show you that. So we will use that in. Let me show you. So you asked about a table, right? So table in the sense J option pane, P-A-N-E. This we are using for the swings. At the time of that, we can use that one. We can directly call upon these option panes and you can build your own tables rows based on the table what you want. So these are, I won't recommend this. At the time of XMLs, you can understand very easily HTMLs and XMLs. We won't build any tables inside a Java. We'll use the tables inside a HTMLs in the, I mean, which is called it as a front end. Front end programming are somewhat different. This is also front end programming, but inside this we are having a concept called swings, SWINGS. These swings consisting of all this technology, and you can create a desktop applications. Okay, I think it is okay for you. One more thing, let me share that screen so that it is easy for you to understand. Okay, now accessing two-dimensional arrays. Yeah, this is somewhat different. We'll discuss this. This is a good example we need to check on. This is a good topic also. Arrays of varying lengths. Just we'll discuss this a small in manner, and in the next class we are going to discuss this in detail. So what is this arraying vary of lengths? Arraying vary of lengths in the sense, see, this is a 4x4 matrix. This is a 4x4 matrix. What is this 4x4 matrix? The row consisting of 44, 55, 66, 77. And this second row consisting of a 36. So here, three columns, I mean in the row, 3 elements are not available. So from here to here, the length has been varied. Here the length is 4, and here the length is 1, here the length is 2, and here the length is 3. So the array is varying lengths inside a two-dimensional array. I think you got my point. So the values are varying. If inside a column there are 4 length, 1 and 2 and 3, the length has been varying. So this is the concept how to access particular values inside this. You can use a for loop, but not in that sense. We are using a technique called, let me show you this. See this. We'll use this one. So it is essential to mention in this way. There are 4 rows, but these values are accessed as 0, 4, and this is a 1 because here we are having, let me show you that one. Here we are having 4. So now we are taking it as a 4. This length is this, not this one. This is the length of this. Inside this we are going to take student 0. It is array. This is the row and this is the column. There are 4 rows. For the column itself, we are going to assign the length. In the next class, we will discuss in detail about this, which is a very easy topic, somewhat clumsy. There is no need to worry about that. Okay, I think today it is the end of the session, and take care. Bye. You may leave the class.